Okay, guys. So I am going to try something different this week since we have, on multiple occasions, had trouble with the sound in the screencast capture software. So this time our lecture will be in phases. So we're going to do three different lecture captures. I'm going to try to keep those each under 30 minutes each. And so the first one will be this video, and it will be titled something along the lines of preparing your files for an assembly drawing. So three phases here. Make sure you take really good notes with this. This is data that you're going to want to have and want to use later. So make sure you take very good notes. We are this week going to create two assembly drawings. Now, how you guys do this is up to you. I would like to have all of you work on the exploded assembly drawing in some way. And so if that means that one person brings in their parts and then sends the file over to the next person who adds their parts, and then it goes to the next person to add their parts, something along those lines. And then the sectioned assemblies you're going to prepare on your own. So each person is going to prepare their own sectioned assembly. You're going to share the exploded assembly file. So in preparing your parts for an assembly, what we don't want to have is we don't want to have in the assembly drawing all of the drawing data and all of the layers and all of the different things that we don't need. And so the first thing we're going to do when we're prepping for an assembly is, why are my layers off again? We're going to go to the model layer. That is the layer that my model is on in this drawing. I want to make sure that is in the model layer, and then I'm going to go to the model space, and I want to make sure that I go to a world coordinate. So model layer, model space, world coordinate. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do what is called a W block. Now, depending on what version of AutoCAD you're using, what AutoCAD textbook you're reading, sometimes people refer to that as a write block, W-R-I-T-E block, because it writes out a file. Some people call it a world block. Either one of those are acceptable terms. We're just going to call it W block. And that's exactly how we're going to get it, is we're going to type in W block at the command line. W-B-L-O-C-K. What that's going to do is going to bring up this dialog box. Hello, dialog box. Take your time, dialog box. Uh-oh. The spinning blue wheel of death. Yay. So, how was your week? My cat is helping tonight. Please don't crash, AutoCAD. I don't have time for this. Oh my gosh. There we go. It's going to bring up this dialog box, hopefully a little faster than that. That would be awesome. And so AutoCAD, this version calls it a write block, but a lot of documentation does call it a world block. We're going to block objects, so we're going to leave that. And we want our base point to be 0, 0, 0, especially if our world coordinate is at the correct location, as it is here. We are going to select the objects. So I'm going to click on this item, select objects. It's going to take me back to model space, and it's going to allow me to select. Now, all I want to select is the part itself. I don't want to select anything else. I'm going to hit enter. It brings me back. And then I need to answer the question, what do I want it to do in this drawing with the thing I selected? Should it be retained as it is? Should it be converted to a block? Should it be deleted from the drawing? We're going to retain it. We're going to leave it. And then we need to give a destination. We need to tell it, where is this going to go? So we're going to hit the little 3-dot guy at the end of the file name and path. And you're going to want to save this to a safe saving location. I make a file folder in my drive and call it Machinist Vice Parts Only, because it'll be still have the same name as the other part, except it'll have the dash parts only, um, meaning that it won't have all of the drawing data in it. It'll just be the part. So I'm going to go to my drive, and we're going to go to my N drive at school, and we're going to go into my assignments, DS2, week 13. And so I make a file, parts only machinist vice. Okay. And so I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it body. And I'm going to go dash part only or something along those lines. Oh, hopefully I can spell. Okay. Now I'm going to save, and it's going to bring me back here. Do not change the insertion unit. Now, when I say okay, depending on my computer, depending on how fast it is, I'm going to get a little flash up here in this corner. If you blink, you'll miss it. If you're on a super fast computer, if we were sitting in the lab, you would barely even be able to catch that something happened up there. My computer's a little bit older than the lab, so we might actually catch it, and it's giving me the blue spinning wheel of death often tonight, so we'll see what happens. So watch up here in the corner. We're going to click OK. Did you see it flashed real quickly? And what it did is it flashed out a file. And so I'm going to close this file now. I don't want to save it. I'm going to leave it the way it was. And then we're going to go open that file that we just saved. Doodly doo doo doo. Doodly doo doo doo. Doodly doo doo doo. How you liking the weather? I miss you guys. This is not near as much fun as actually like being in the room with y'all. Hopefully you're all well. Nobody's sick. Okay, so if I go over here now to my parts only machinist vice and I open that part, there it is. I'm going to open that. So now what this is this is the part only. And if I go to the layers, you're going to see it only has layer 0 and the model layer. If I go over to annotate, it probably only has whatever, it actually kept several dimension styles. So I'm kind of surprised. If I zoom extents, all of the data for the drawing is not here, it's gone. If I come down to my multi-view layouts, there aren't any. It's just the part in a basically blank file. Now you're going to do that to every single part. So let's review. I'll do it again for you. I'm going to come over to the machinist vice. First thing or the jaw. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the model layer, model space, world coordinate. I'm going to go find my model. In this case, this happens to be in wireframe, and that's fine. Okay, let's go world coordinate system. Kind of surprised that I used that as the origin. I probably didn't. Okay, so here we go. It's W block, WBLOCK, enter. Okay, we're going to use the base point 000, select objects, select just the part, enter. We want to retain, and we need to tell it where to go. So we're going to click here. It's obviously having a slow time accessing my file structure tonight. I'm still here. Are you still here? Uh-oh, that's not cool. Please hold. Crash and burn. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go parts only machine vice, and I'm going to call this jaw dash part only. Okay, I'm going to save it. When I say okay here, I'm going to get that flash in the corner, and then I'm going to close this. Okay, so everybody's going to do that for every one of their parts. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new drawing. Okay, and we're going to create a new drawing. We're going to pull in all 8 parts, and then we're going to do 2 save as. So we're going to start a new drawing. So file new. When we're done with this video, I'll restart my computer before I record the second part for you. I'm not sure why it's unhappy tonight. La di da di da di da. La di da di. There it goes. Okay, so my template, I'm going to my pseudo engineering services, which I happen to have here. Engineering services, DS2, mechanical reference. There's my template. Okay, so I come and I open the template. I'm going to go to model space, and now we're going to insert as a block each of the parts that you stripped out of your other files. So we're going to go to the insert tab. We're going to go to the insert tool. It's the very first one over here. We're going to go to more options, and we're going to browse for our files. Maybe I should have restarted in between here because I got to do this 8 times for you. La 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 la, not responding. Why are you so slow? Why are you so slow? There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go out to my files. PS2, 13, parts only. Okay, so here's my body, part only. I'm going to insert that. And it's going to ask me questions, insertion point, scale, and rotation. So I'm going to insert the first one at 0, 0, 0. And I want the scale to be 1 and uniform. And I want the rotation angle to be 0. So I'm going to click OK. It's going to drop my part into the new file. It's going to drop it in so that that lower left corner is my origin. And if I go to conceptual mode, there's my first part. Now we're going to do it again. Insert, more options, browse, wait. Maybe I should play music in the background while we're accessing files tonight. Oh, what a pain. Oh, what a pain. Here we go. We're going to take the jaw. Going to open. Now this time I don't want it to land right on top of the other part. So I'm going to specify the insertion point on the screen. So I'll click OK. And it's just going to ask me for an insertion point. Okay. And so I'm going to do that for each part. Insert, more options, browse, main screw. Okay, there it is. Insert, more options, browse. Okay, we were rocking and rolling. What happened here? Okay, so you're going to bring in all 8 parts, and then we will start the next video. Here we go. I do need to show you how to bring in the bottom plate. Okay, so if I bring in the bottom plate, it's gigantic. And it's gigantic because it's a metric part. So we need to do something slightly different here. So I'm going to go back, insert again, more options, browse. This time we're going to grab the bottom plate again, but we're going to play with the scale here. So our scale isn't 1 to 1 if that's a millimeters part and we're in an inches drawing. Our scale is 1 over 25.4. So here's the thing, I can't type in 1 over 25.4. I can, but it won't accept it because AutoCAD won't accept a decimal in the denominator of a fraction. So instead of putting it in as 1 over 25.4, I'm going to put it in as 10 over 254. So all I've done here is both in the numerator and the denominator, I've simply moved my decimal one place to the right so that I have no decimal values in either the numerator or the denominator. And what that's going to do is it's going to do our conversion for us, and it's going to bring that part in at the correct scale. Okay, that's the only one that's going to have that issue. All of the others just simply come in at a scale of 1. So bring in all 8 of your parts. If you need more than one, like you have 2 of the screw at the bottom and you have 2 of the caps, just bring in 1 and I'll show you how to duplicate those. Okay, so I'm going to save this off now as part 1 of our video series for this week, and I'll meet you back with all 8 parts.